win and a huge win in Eugene. We'll talk NFL and an always entertaining MLB postseason. Plus, we'll dive into the latest Texas athletics news, including the Longhorns' upcoming game against Georgia. It's October, folks, the best month in the sporting calendar. All this and more on the 1-0 Sports Show. We're going to have an exciting show. We're going to talk about the NFL divisional round and what we expect from it. We talk about Texas's inconsistent start in Big 12 play for men's basketball. We'll finish with some talk about our women's basketball team. So, we got a packed show today.
I got to go the other way. You know, Texas A&M, they got a lot of identity issues. Are they an agricultural school? Are they military? Are they blue collar? Are they academics? They're all over the place. So
now, I'm always a sucker for a one-handed catch. I have tiny hands. I need 3 of them just to catch a football. So this one-handed grab in the end zone, that's just super impressive in my eyes. That's going to be my play of the week.
Mayo pour on college game day. Look at this. Just the guy and the North Carolina, South Carolina game. He's just straight eating it, shirt off, rubbing it on his body.
Hey, listen, the Cinderella story ends here, Texans. I'm sorry, man. The chariots turned back into the pumpkin. It struck midnight. Whatever you want to say. I think it ends here.
Today's show is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at capmetro.org.
Alrighty, so we have, on quotations, the greatest week in Austin history happening this weekend.
Yeah.
With F1, with the Georgia-Texas game.
Oh, yeah.
First top 5 ranked matchup between 2 teams at DKR in history. What an exciting weekend to be in Austin. How are you doing today, by the way, Tyler?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's always great to be on 1-0 Sports Show. And
Yeah.
as always, as we do every week on 1-0, let's start off with our Who's Hot, Who's Not.
Yes.
I'm going to start off with you, Tyler. Who's your Who's Hot?
All right, my Who's Hot, we're going to go to the National League Championship Series. We're going to go third baseman Mark Vientos of the New York Mets. He has been on a tear all postseason. He's 17 of 46. He has a 370 average. That is almost... That's over 100 percentage points. I think that's how you can say it. He had a 266 in the regular season. He has a 370 in the postseason. 4 home runs, including this grand slam in Game 2. 12 RBIs for a 1.070 OPS. He has been absolutely instrumental in the Grimace Mets' immaculate run to the National League Championship Series. And even last night, did they lose? Yes, but he had another home run just to try to help his team out as much as possible. He's been on a tear this postseason.
Yeah, some players just rise to the occasion when it comes to October
Absolutely.
baseball.
You always
I mean, he's
find
one of
those new stars in the postseason you don't really hear about in the regular season.
Mm-hmm. And so for my Who's Hot, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go to the ice. I'm going to pick the Calgary Flames. Look, they're 4-0 to start this season off. They're the one of 2 teams in the Western Conference that are undefeated still, other than the Winnipeg Jets. And I picked the Flames over the Jets because, look, the Jets, they were a perennial playoff team last year. This year, the Flames are looking a lot better than they did last year. They sucked last year. They started off hot. They beat the Canucks and the Oilers, 2 very, very competitive teams in their division, in the Pacific Division. And they've scored over 6 goals in 2 of the 4 games, and 7 players have already scored multiple goals this year. They're first in the West right now. I doubt that that's going to stay for too long, but for right now, they're my Who's Hot. Kind of ironic with the name there, the Calgary Flames. But
Yeah,
anyways, let's get it off to
their expectations.
the Who's Not.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go right back to the NLCS because Will Smith, the catcher of the Dodgers, has been absolutely ice cold the entirety of the postseason. He's 5 for 32. He has a 156 average, way under the Mendoza line. He had a 248 in the regular season. You can see the difference there. 1 homer, 4 RBIs, and a 539 OPS. Just terrible. He swings at strikes. He can't get hits. He's striking out all the time. He's not helping the Dodgers at all, and he's just been awful, which is weird because in the past he's had pretty decent postseason, so I'm not really sure what's going on with him, but he's just been absolutely awful.
Yeah, you said 5 for 32, 156 average, just abysmal, man, abysmal. The fact that they're up 2-1 with that guy in their starting lineup is kind of crazy. But...
I mean, in a regular season, you'd have him down at AAA a week ago, but... A little hard to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go with Jerry Jones for my Who's Not. Happy birthday, Jerry. Happy birthday, man.
Is it his birthday today?
No, it was on Sunday when they lost
Oh,
47-9.
wow. That's
47-9 to the Detroit Lions. Look, I've talked a lot about Jerry Jones on the show before. He's just not a good owner. we know this, but I'm saying he's not on in this segment is because of his comments on 105.3 The Fan. If you are from DFW, you know that that's one of the most premier sports talk radio shows in the entire Metroplex. And he was quoted saying, he'll get somebody else to ask the questions. I'm not kidding. When Bobby Belt of the RJ and Shan show started asking criticizing questions about the offseason moves the Cowboys made. And we all know he picked Zeke over Derrick Henry. We have every right as media to question this guy's motives in the offseason, but he did not have it. He was short-tempered. And I mean, it's just it just makes me so angry to see this. Sorry for the stutter right there. Because he has a huge impact on the media scene in Dallas, and he could get them fired for real. But why would he? Why can't he take the blame? He's the common denominator in the Cowboys' shortcomings since the 90s. Coaches have come and gone. Quarterbacks have come and gone. There's been one common denominator, that's Jerry Jones. He stayed the entire time. It's tough to see other journalists ask respected questions that fans want to know just to get threatened by one of the most powerful men in the state. It's frustrating. It's embarrassing. It's just outright a horrible look for a guy whose reputation is already shot. We need a new ownership in Dallas, and that's how I'm going to end it for that one, because that's just... I could go on and on about Jerry Jones, but anyways, let's get to what's trending.
Yes.
So, we had a lot of big moves in the NFL. On Tuesday morning following a Monday night matchup, the Bills and Jets traded for Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams, respectively. Were these trades good, and how will they impact each team?
Okay, so I'm going to start with Devontae Adams. I don't think this is a good trade, only because I don't think it's necessary. You have an offense with Alan Lazard and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Tyler Conklin and Aaron Rodgers. That should already be good enough on paper to overpower 75% of the defenses in the NFL. The fact that that hasn't been happening is basically inexcusable. Now, they did fire Coach Robert Saleh this past week, so they do have a new interim coach. Jeff Ulbrich, he did lose his first game, but we can see if he's going to help. But when you're getting Devontae Adams, you're filling a hole that doesn't exist, and it shouldn't exist with all the pieces that you have. The issue is none of them are playing to their potential because the coaching has been absolutely abysmal. But the coach that you fired is not the one that's calling plays. Nathaniel Hackett's still employed there. We know from the past couple years he cannot call plays. It's just not going to happen. So you can put the best people in, but if your coaching sucks, it's not going to happen. Now, going back to Amari Cooper, I'm going to go 180 here. I think this is an amazing trade. Amari Cooper still has a lot left in the tank, and I think giving Stephon Diggs up, you lost your wide receiver one to the Texans, and you got one right back out of Cleveland. He did not want to be in Cleveland. Nobody wants to be in Cleveland. It is an absolute dumpster fire right now. So getting Amari Cooper, putting him in a situation where you have Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, giving him another wide receiver to throw to on the offense, you now have one of the most formidable offenses in the NFL. No defense is going to want to have Josh Allen throw into Amari Cooper. So I think this really puts the Bills in a position to really take that division. I don't think the Jets are any more of a threat than they used to be now that they have Devontae Adams.
That's good. I like the takes. I think that this is a good trade for both teams. I think whenever you get premier wide receivers that can easily give you 100 yards on any given game, I think it's always a good move. But yeah, I do think that the Jets, they're starting to look a little desperate out here. You know, they had one of their years of the Aaron Rodgers experience taken away. Yeah. So now they're starting to really, really take up for that time. They're firing their coach, all that.
Yeah.
But I believe Amari Cooper to the Bills is a great move. I think that's the better move of the two for sure. As well for the price. The Jets and Bills, they've both lost embarrassing games so far this year. The offense incompetence, like the Bills to the Texans, the Jets to the Broncos. This team, both these trades are going to really help both teams win some extra games this year, I believe. But let's move on. I'm going to get to the NBA season is tipping off next Tuesday. So who are your front runners in each conference to make it to the NBA Finals?
All right, so we've got some newcomers, I think. I think we're going to see the Oklahoma City Thunder win the Western Conference. Their roster is basically unchanged from last year. They were number one in the West. They have an amazing core. You have Alex Caruso, you have Lou Dort, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you have Chet Holmgren, who had a very good rookie year, and I think he built upon that. I think they're just a really, really frightening team, and I think now that entire team has that 1 year of playoff experience where they kind of fizzled out, I think they know what they need to fix playoff-wise. I think it's just going to be really, really hard to beat them in the Western Conference. Mm-hmm. Going on to the East, I think it's going to be the Knicks. I think the Celtics are an extremely good team, and they basically haven't changed. but I think that's going to be more of a crux than a benefit, because the Knicks just got Karl Anthony Towns, and that is terrifying for every other team in the East. They have an amazing squad. They score a lot. They are extremely efficient on ball movement. I think they're just going to be extremely, extremely difficult to beat. I think it's just going to be a lot of orange and blue in the NBA Finals, and I think it's going to be really electric series. New players, high ratings, new teams. It's going to be really fun to watch.
I like that answer. I like the Thunder and the Knicks. I think the Thunder do win the West. I think the Thunder do get that first seed in the West, and I think the Knicks fight for that number 1 seed. But I'm going to go for a finals rematch. I know. The two teams from each conference that make it far. I'm going to go between the Mavs and Celtics because, look, the Celtics, they retained all their players. They're easily one of the best squads ever built on the court. Their efficiency on offense while also being lockdown defenders rises them over any Eastern team. The Knicks, I just fear, will need some time to gel, while the Celtics already got a plan. They already know what they're doing. For the Mavericks, it's plain and simple. You got upgrades at every position you lost in the offseason. Klay Thompson, he's better than Tim Hardaway Jr. Quentin Grimes, he's better than Josh Green. Najee Marshall, he's better than Derrick Jones Jr. And they go with one of the best playoff performers of all time in Luka Doncic. It's hard to see the Mavericks taking any step down this year. I think it could be a very possible finals rematch this year. It's just hard to see other teams competing with them. I do like the Thunder. I think the Nuggets are a little overrated, but I think the Thunder and Mavs are going to be the two teams out of the West.
I think if
in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I think if there's a year where you're going to see a concrete finals rematch, it's going to be this year, because the finals last year was just incredibly fun. They're both amazing teams, so it's going to be fun. I think this is one of the most excited I've been about an NBA season in a couple years. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun year. I'm hoping so. But anyways, that'll do it for our first block. When we come back, we'll have Colin coming on to judge our weekly highlights. You won't want to miss it. Coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show.
Put them up.
Welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We have a special guest. Colin Flickinger is here. He's going to judge our picks of the best highlights this week in the sports world. How are you doing today, Colin?
Doing pretty good. Got my game day sign finished last night, and probably going to start camping out some point late tonight. So
yeah,
I'm ready.
All right, so we're going to go on to our highlights. We're going to start with our best college football player of Week 3, and we're going to start with TJ. What do you got for us?
So I'm going to go with the Penn State USC game. I have Tyler Warren, a touchdown on the same play. He snapped the ball. I don't know why the defense didn't shift on this, but look at this throw. It's not really a good throw. He gets and catches it over the defender. I can't really see the TV right now, but it was an insane play. Look, the defense doesn't – I don't know what the defense is really doing, but good
Did the tight end snap the ball on that play?
No. Is it the
I
tight
think
end?
he did.
Is that the starting tight end?
Yeah, he did.
He is the starting tight end? Yep.
USC
Caught the
defense
TD on
caught
the same
lacking.
play. Pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go with one that's not the best in skill. It's kind of the best in fun, and I'm going to go with Quintradrion Weisner running down the field, fumbling the ball at the 5-yard line, only for Silas Bolden, the farthest player in the field, to run faster than lightning to get the fumble back and score a touchdown for UT. Is this the best play in skill? Absolutely not. Never fumbled the ball. Terrible idea. But watching it live, it was the most fun play I've seen in a really long time. I have not seen a fumble-Ruski touchdown in probably about 15 years, so this is a very, very fun play to watch.
Okay, well, while that play did have me literally jumping out of my seat and screaming, a tight end snapping the ball, and then a backwards pass to a wide receiver who then threw it to the tight end who snapped the ball, who mosses a receiver in the end zone for a touchdown. I don't think that's beatable.
Pretty crazy. And they were down like 2 scores at that point, too,
Yeah.
which is why it's like pulling out the trickery to come back. But anyways, let's get into the best Week 4 NFL play. Well, actually, I guess it's best Week 6. We haven't updated this in a couple weeks. Tyler, who do you have?
Okay, so I'm going to go with a little bit of a homer thing. Texans against the Patriots. We go in, we're at fourth quarter. Drake May throws it up. Will Anderson bobs it in the air, and then Eric Murray, hugging the defender, gets the interception. It's one of the most technically best interceptions I've ever seen. I know I was jumping out of my seat. I think it's just really incredible what the Texans defense is doing, being able to pump the ball in the air, and then he brings it in, hugging the defender. That's just insane to me.
Yeah, I like a good old defensive play, but good offense, it always beats good defense. I'm going to go with some Monday Night Football action with Aaron Rodgers' Hail Mary, the first half, the Allen Lazard, just some classic Aaron Rodgers play. We've seen this before from him many a times, but it's just always spectacular, always amazing to see no matter how many times he's done it. What a throw. Allen Lazard goes up and grabs it. People are acting like it's on the ground. It's not. Allen Lazard caught it with his helmet. And so that's going to be my play of the week for the NFL. Who do you have, Colin?
It's a cool play with the interception. It's a tip up in the air. But how many times has Aaron Rodgers done this where he throws it up and then someone comes down with it? Like, that's what, his like 5th Hail Mary that's worked in his career?
So,
Probably more.
Magic,
Yeah.
Like, it's magic every time it happens. I got to go with that.
All right, so now MLB highlight of the week going into the postseason. What do you got for us, TJ?
I'm going to go with Shohei Ohtani's bomb in Game 3. What a big shot right here. He just lets it rip, and it is second deck. Can't even see where it lands almost. It's insane how much power he can pull from these plays. And first of all, I just love left-handed swinging. Left-handed swinging is so smooth. It's a great swing from Shohei. He knows it right away. And that was ball game right there.
All right, I'm actually also going to go NLCS, and I've already spoken about him once, and I think I'm speaking about him again later. Mark Vientos, Grand Slam, Game 2 at Dodger Stadium.
Yard.
What an electric home run. Absolutely smashed. I mean, for the Mets to even win a game in this series, it's insane considering what they did earlier in the season, and Mark Vientos has absolutely been the star of the postseason. I said it earlier. This was one of the most fun plays of the entire series so far, and it really goes to show what the Mets can do when they're hot.
Ohtani might be the first ever runners on base merchant. He is 0-22, I think, in the playoffs without runners on base. I don't think he has.
Actually.
Oh, okay. So he got his first hit
first home
in
run.
the NLCS without runners on base. Might be the first ever runners on base merchant.
This is unnecessary.
This is crazy.
This is unnecessary.
But a grand slam for the Mets. Oh my God. Love that song. Crazy what they've been able to do in a grand slam. I got to take that over a 3-run shot any time of the week.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to win that one. I knew Mark Vientos getting that grand slam was going to win. All right, let's get into worst up/ref mistake or biggest blooper, a.k.a. the Will Levis segment. Tyler, who do you have?
All right, I'm going to go back back to Monday Night Football into what I think might be one of the worst kicks I've ever seen on television. Tyler Bass, where is this ball going? Right into the crowd. I don't understand where he thought he was kicking it. Was it Sam Darnold? Is he seeing ghosts again? What is happening here? I think Joe Buck said it best. He's seen better kicks in College Game Day than Tyler Bass on that one. That's the biggest blooper of the week. I think we're going to be seeing that when we think about Tyler Bass for a really long time. I could kick that better.
Yeah, he was not winning the 50K with that kick.
No.
I'm going to go with Will Levis. Look, it's like a tradition at this point on this show to go with Will Levis on every week. This one, pretty bad. We're going to slow it down real quick just to really get some good analysis here. Look, he rolls out to the left. He acts like he's going to throw it. Look, he comes, starts running.
5 yards back, and he
5 yards back. Thinks he's going to get this first down. He actually does, I believe. But what does he do? He rolls straight into an old guy, old line judge. Actually, I think he broke his legs.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Will Levis just can't get out of controversy. He can't get out of memeable moments.
I believe
it's
you
so
call
sad.
that a strike.
Yeah, he got a good little strike there. And then also, Casanti wants me to say it, when Tony Pollard scored his touchdown for the Titans and they're all doing their own little celebration, Will Levis comes sprinting in and starts shooting webs into the crowd like this. Just all of a sudden looking like an idiot. I'm sorry, Will Levis. I really do like you, but you just got some memeable moments. So who do you have, Colin?
As much as I want to pick Will Levis, just because this is the Levis low light of the week, which I think that's what we should call that part from now on, the Levis low light of the week.
Sponsored by
Every week
Duke's
there's
Tyler Bass is getting paid $5.1 million a year to do that on national television. I could do better. Pat McAfee hit me up. I could hit that. I could hit that kick. I'm gonna give it to Tyler.
I respect it. So it's 2-2?
It's 2-2.
2-2? All right.
Tiebreaker.
All right. Who wants to... I guess I went
You want me to
last.
start?
I can start.
Okay.
I'll go start. So the best college volleyball, WNBA, NBA preseason, or miscellaneous sport play of this week. Large topic, very broad topic. I'm gonna go with Sabrina Ionescu in her New York Liberty game winner, not buzzer beater, but game winner against the Minnesota Lynx. This was just such a good shot. Paul George is somewhere in the world right now saying that's a bad shot, but that was a great shot. That was a great shot. Drowned it, and I think the Liberty went up 2-1 in the finals now because of this shot. So, big-time players make big-time plays.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to go to the NBA preseason. Might mean less, but you see a lot of great plays. And I'm going to go to the Houston Rockets and rookie Reed Shepherd. He absolutely stunned in the Summer League. And look at this. Steals the ball right here. In just a second. Here we go. Steals the ball, runs all the way down the court, and just absolutely masterfully dunks on here. He has been electric the entire Summer League, the entire preseason. He has shown that he's probably the best top 5 draft pick in the draft so far and how he's performing. I think it's just an incredible play. He's really showing what he's capable of, and what we're going to see in this Rocket season is going to be really fun.
Santi loves Reed Shepherd, man. He's a big Reed Shepherd fan.
Tyler, I'm kind of disappointed in you. I expected a little bit more firepower than a steal and a dunk. I mean, a 3-point game winner from the tip of the logo versus.
Okay, well, I was also going to go with that, so I kind of had to scramble. But
You could. It's miscellaneous. You can pick anything
looked
else.
so
It's
many
any
games.
other sport. I gotta give it to TJ. Unfortunately, but I wanted a better contract at the end.
Oh, this is new.
oh yeah,
What is
Get
this?
yourself a little trophy.
I'm the best. That's what it says, man. Holy, let's go, dude. This is nice new tradition added, man. I like it. But anyways, I'm gonna be crowning over this while we go to break. When we come back, me and Tyler Stremple, we're gonna be talking a little bit about Texas athletics with the big game coming up tomorrow against Georgia. You won't want to miss it. Coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show. So we are back on the 1-0 Sports Show this Friday morning. I'm TJ Krilowicz. He's Tyler Stremple. And we're going to talk a little bit about Texas athletics, mostly Texas football, obviously, with their big win bringing the Golden Hat back from Dallas to Austin. And also now, no rest in between. Got to go play number 5 ranked Georgia on Saturday at DKR. So the first question I got for you, we're gonna talk about the Red River game first. The big blowout, 34-3 stomping of Oklahoma. How impressed are you by this win, and what was your biggest takeaway from the game?
I'm extremely impressed by this win. I think coming into a Red River game, you always kind of expect the unexpected. Even when it's a number 1 team, you always have it in the back of your mind that this might go wrong. It did not go wrong, even in the slightest. And that was mostly, or a lot of the reason was our defense was lights out the entire game. 2 fumbles in a row. We made them miss a field goal. They had no points after the first quarter. They were 0-0-0 in the box score after that 1 field goal in the first quarter. It was absolutely incredible to watch their defense just absolutely work their magic on a, albeit injured, Oklahoma offense, but still one they should have probably put up more than 3 if it weren't for the defense.
I agree.
The offense did recover from a horrible first drive in first quarter. I mean, it was just not... It's like we forgot how to move the football, and then the second quarter hit, and immediately we remembered, hey, this is football. We should probably score some points, and we absolutely did. Billy Bowman Jr. was a story. I was looking at him the entire game, and after that 1 interception, we neutralized him. He had 1 tackle the whole game. He made no impact after the first quarter. That really helped our offense really get into the groove and score as many points as we did. I think what we need to take away is that we have a lot of offensive powerhouses that we can hand the ball off to or throw it to. It's a very diverse system, which really helps confuse a defense. We can run it, we can pass it, we can fumble it into the end zone, we can still score. When you have that many lanes of scoring, it's really easy to win games.
For sure. That defense was amazing against Oklahoma. Dominated in all aspects of the game. And yeah, I think the game went great. I think the game, covering the spread is always a good sign. But the first half woes, they got to stop soon. They got to stop soon. Against Mississippi State, Texas was only up 7-6 before a touchdown in the winding seconds. They were also negative in rushing yards with like a little less than 2 minutes left in the first quarter of that game. And then against Oklahoma, Texas did not get a single first down in the first quarter. They were close to having a 7-3 score at halftime until you mentioned the defense showed up and got 2 consecutive fumbles, helped the Longhorns build up their lead immensely before halftime. And so, they're still winning. But they're getting down early, they're digging themselves holes, and they're not playing their greatest until the second half. It's dangerous water. They're treading dangerous waters. And you can't make these mental mistakes they've been making in both games against a team like Georgia. You're going to have Georgia take better advantage of this. They're not going to have somebody like Michael Hawkins Jr. at quarterback. Yeah. They're going to have Carson Beck. They're going to have Dominic Lovett at wide receiver, and they're not going to have their top 5 wide receivers out like Oklahoma. They're going to take advantage of these mistakes that you're doing. And so they just got to clean up that first half woes for sure.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
And so Texas Quinn Ewers, that's the next point. He struggled in the first quarter of the game. He threw an interception on the first drive of the game to Billy Bowman. Is Quinn ready to face a Georgia stout defense, and should Texas consider giving Arch Manning some looks?
Listen, Quinn Ewers coming back from an injury is most likely the reasoning for the first quarter woes that he had. I think it's pretty clear Quinn Ewers is the starter for UT football. That is not going to change. Just because you have one of the best backups, if not the best backup, in the nation, does not mean you bench your starter for that backup unless it is absolutely necessary. Quinn Ewers now has a game under his belt after coming from that oblique injury against UTSA. I think what they're going to hammer a lot in the practice against, this is the biggest team that they've played. This is one of the biggest games they've played in probably 15 years. I mean, this is absolutely insane, the magnitude and what this game represents. I think they're going to hit this hard. Manning knows his place. Manning has stayed. He didn't transfer. He knows that he's going to be here for 4 years. I think you keep Ewers unless it's absolutely necessary. You put Manning in.
Yeah, and I think this topic is funny because I think no matter how good Quinn Ewers does, there's always going to be somebody on X or Twitter that are going to be saying that Arch Manning should be starting right now. But just like Steve Sarkisian said in his presser, I'm going to say no. Next question. But I will explain a little bit. Texas is just fine. Quinn needed to get his footing right. It's a tough environment. It was a tough defense. I think Texas fans, they're getting a little too spoiled. Ewers still completed about 80% of his passes, had 199 yards. This could improve, obviously, but those tough environments, Ewers has proven to play well in. You think about Michigan, you think about Alabama. I think the mental mistakes, if they can go away in the first quarter, he would be absolutely fine. I think he is perfectly I think he's the starting quarterback for Texas for sure. But moving on Saturday, and what might be the biggest day in the history of Austin, Texas, the Texas Longhorns will face number 5 Georgia and DKR. And what is the key for Texas to win that game, and how can Georgia stop Texas's electric offense?
So defense wins championships, and defense is extremely important in every game. But I think the defense is okay. I think we can rely on them to do what they need to do. What is really important is offensive line play. Can we give Quinn Ewers enough time in the pocket to read the field correctly and make the right decision? On that topic, how does Georgia stop Texas's offense? Absolutely demolish the offensive line. Make Quinn Ewers rush in the pocket. Make him throw the poor ball. Make him make the bad decision. Make him throw it over the middle to the defender. Quinn Ewers does have a slight history of rushing it in the pocket with pressure and throwing it somewhere that's going to get it intercepted. He's done it every once in a while. There's probably one per game at this point, which is extremely bad. You cannot start the game off with an interception this game week. With Oklahoma, you could recover. This is Georgia. You cannot recover from this. Your offensive line has to be amazing, and if Georgia can penetrate that O-line and rush Quinn Ewers in the pocket, it is a much better chance that the offense stifles and Georgia can win this game.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think that Ewers does have a little bit of pressure of going in the or when he's in the pocket, he's getting pressure. He does start to kind of just sling it loose at times. I read the question wrong. I thought it was how could Texas stop Georgia's offense? All right, because look, this is a defense. This is a defense an offense that Texas hasn't seen. Georgia in their last 3 games have given up 30 plus or have scored 30 plus points. They scored over 500 yards against Alabama, 600 plus total yards on offense against Mississippi State. Look, Texas's defense, they have not given up more than 300 yards in a game this season. It is a extreme challenge for them. And for me, I think it's limiting the big plays. That will be the biggest part of the game. You cannot find yourself giving up 30-plus yard plays to Carson Beck and the Georgia offense. This is the best offense they played all year. The Texas defense has been statistically the best in the nation, so something has to crack. We saw Alabama almost lose the game to Georgia because of the big plays. Texas struggled against pass defense last year. They were one of the worst in FBS in pass defense last year. And, it's reasonable to say that they haven't faced a quarterback that's been a consistent pocket thrower for any of their games so far. So, they haven't played a quarterback that has the arm talent like Carson Beck this season. They're going to need Jahdae Barron. They're going to need Michael Taft. They're going to need Malik Muhammad. They're going to need all of them to contribute for Texas to win this game. It's not going to be an offensive showdown. It might be, but the defense is going to be the winner of this game, and whoever can play better defense.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
Yeah, so anyways, that'll do it for our Texas Athletics block. We're going to hop into the debate segment. We're going to have Colin Flickinger join us again on the podium, as well as Raymond Gorvey, and our 1-0 executive producer, Michael Alvarez, will be joining us as the debate host. You won't want to miss it. We're going to get fiery in it. All this coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show. All right, so we are back on the 1-0 Sports Show this Friday morning. Michael Alvarez, he's joining us here in his sweatshirt and his nice little fit here. Nice to have you on, man.
Producer fit.
How you doing,
happy.
man?
I'm happy to be here. You know, this is a fun segment. You know, we had last time we did it. It ran a little long, so I put a little timer. I put some precautions on it so we don't spread out and have these guys just attack each other for too long. So this is our Let's Talk Sports debate section. As you see, I made that nice little graphic. There's a LeBron on there. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
I love LeBron.
Who doesn't love LeBron? You know, who
Can we
doesn't
get a
love-
round of applause for LeBron really
All right, let's
quickly?
get a round of applause for LeBron. All right, we can always get a round of applause for LeBron,
king.
but getting into it. So basically, this is going to be a debate segment. So we have two teams. The team, I guess we'll call them Team A and Team B.
Wow.
Actually, that doesn't really matter. It's just two teams. I hope they don't take offense to A and B. But there's going to be two topics. One side's going to argue one topic, and the other side's going to argue the other. And then we're going to go to the next topic, and vice versa. And there's a third topic that I'm not going to tell them until that comes up. And they kind of got to go off the top of their head. Whoever answers first gets to fight that side. Other team has to argue the opposite way, and that's just how it goes. Simple as that. It's not that hard, but last time we didn't have any timing on it, so this time I decided to add a timer. Both teams are going to get 2 minutes each to talk for their part for each topic, and then after they talk those 2 minutes, they're going to another minute and a half to argue with each other, to debate, to argue the side the other team said, to kind of counter it, disacknowledge it, whatever you want to do. So that's kind of how we're going to do it. And then, what's it called? For the final topic, it's going to be the same thing. I'm just going to hear it when it ends. So that's the rules. I hope everyone understands. And without further ado, let's get into it. But first, let me get my timer going. I'm a very unprepared host here. All right. So topic number one is going to be with Tyler's team. Tyler's going to argue whatever side he wants. I'm going to go ahead and read that out to y'all real quick. So Travis Hunter drops a quote earlier this week on his take of the Heisman race. I mean, y'all see Ashton Genty. It's not like we haven't seen a running back that's good. We haven't seen a player that plays both ways, and I'm going to keep saying that. Basically saying that he should be the favorite to win the Heisman this year. Who gets your Heisman pick out of the two? Go ahead, Tyler. Y'all have 2 minutes starting now.
Okay, so we're going to argue that it should be Ashton Genty. And ordinarily, a two-way player has a history of being really, really loved, and everyone fawns over him. But when you have a running back who is doing what Ashton Genty is doing in college football right now, you can't ignore it. He's on pace to break Barry Sanders' all-time rushing yards record from 1988 and tie or beat his single-season rushing touchdown record. We didn't think that was ever going to happen. I remember talking even 2 years ago about how Barry Sanders had the best season a running back has ever had in college football, and it will never be beat. And right now, that is being threatened. He has 1,248 yards and 17 touchdowns in 6 games. There are running backs who get half that the entire season. I mean, it is absolutely nuts.
Also, I want to say, he's doing it while in 2 games this season, he sat out for the second half. And not only that, by Travis Hunter going on and saying that in the media, he also gives Ashton Genty the good guy narrative. Ashton Genty can just take the high road, not act just say, I don't care about the Heisman race. So he also gets the adore of the fans. I think, really, whether it should or shouldn't be Ashton Genty is another debate. Whether it will be is that it's going to be Genty because of the fact that he is not only so loved, but he is doing things that he says we've seen running backs as good before. Have we?
And
Have
also,
we really?
30 seconds.
I want to say his best. You might be saying, "Oh, Boise State, they're a Group of 5 team. He can run against anybody." His 2 best games this season are against Oregon and Washington State, 2 teams that are or were ranked. So he's doing this against defenses that were in the AP top 25. He's not just doing it against nobody teams. That counts for something. He will win the Heisman.
I mean, yeah. So we'll call it y'all's time there. I mean, this is a guy. He's running. 200. Have you watched his highlights? Have you watched the highlights?
Dude, he's just standing there like this.
He's so menacing. He stands so menacingly. He gets hit. He just bounces off the tackle. He doesn't like to. It's like we're playing Madden on rookie. So it's honestly, I have to say that I am a big fan of him, but I'm also a big fan of Travis Hunter. So what y'all got? Starting now.
All right, you want me to go first? All right, so look, I'm going to go off the fact that this is a two-dimensional player and that he has had over 100 yards in receiving yards for 4 of the 6 games that they've played. absolutely insane for a guy who's been also playing on the other side of the field, playing on defense. Absolutely insane. Also, I want to talk about Ashton Gency real quick. The carries, man. He's had so many carries. If you had that many carries, it could definitely, somebody could do that too. Look, and he's one-dimensional. His receiving, he does not have a lot of plays through the air. He's not getting out and helping the team through the air. He's only running the ball. But I think Travis Hunter, he's been able to do way more than one-dimensional for his team, and he's been able to help their team win in multiple ways, not just running the ball. He's been able to catch the ball. He's been able to pick off the ball. He's doing a lot of good stuff for Colorado.
It's rare that you see someone be the best receiver and best corner on a team, and that's what Travis Hunter is. He's their best defensive player, and he's arguably, as him and Shador, the best overall offensive player. I would say Travis Hunter's the best overall offensive player. So it's rare that we see a two-way player do and put up the stats that he's doing. The last two-way player that we've seen impact winning at this level is Charles Woodson, and he won the Heisman. So, and we can't just ignore that Alshon Jeffrey, we have to look at his competition. He's going against the lower-tier athletes. There are college D1 athletes.
30 seconds.
But they're not Power 4 athletes. They're in the Mountain West Conference for a reason. Travis Hunter is doing this week in and week out against the Big 12, and also had a great performance against a Big 10 team in Nebraska earlier this year. So for that reason, we believe that Travis Hunter should be the front runner for Heisman so far.
Yeah, he had a great game against Nebraska. They beat Kansas State as well. But Travis Hunter, man, when's the last time we've seen somebody score 100 yards in one game, get a touchdown in that game, and also a touchdown in that game? Or, yeah, an interception, touchdown, and 100 yards.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Travis Hunter. I mean, I like y'all's argument that he's the best player. He doesn't just play two ways. He's the best player at both positions for the two ways that he plays. So that's a really good take y'all pot there. But now y'all have a minute that there's you don't have to wait for the person to talk. If you want to cut them off, cut them off. You want to argue with them. You got 1 minute to do that starting.
Okay, you want to talk about how many carries Shanti has? He has the second highest yards per carry. He is a better rate player than he is just looking at his normal stats.
But is that like, are the top 5 players like, not Power 4 running backs, or what is it? Like
number 4 is Iowa. That's a Big 10. Number 5 is Kansas State. That's a Big 12. So no, this is every single NCAA. He's second in the NCAA. You want to know why he has so many carries? Because why would you not give him the ball if you're Boise State when he can do what he does on the field? Why would you not do that? Also, Travis Hunter's not the best wide receiver.
Do you think that he could replicate this if he was at Michigan, for example, or if he was at Georgia?
Yeah, dude, have you seen Michigan's schedule to start the season? Those are cakewalk defenses.
Texas?
That's probably the only one. And I'd argue Oregon's defense is better than Texas's.
Whoa.
Oh.
That might be a hot take. I think Oregon's defense is better than Texas's, and he ran through them like diarrhea. It was crazy.
See, the one time that he actually did play against a Power 4 team, he actually had his lowest average yards.
All right.
He had 2 touchdowns. Or 3.
Okay. Everyone, calm down. I like it though. That was good. Hot take. Very, very, very hot take. But I will say this. I like both arguments. I like both sides. I like both players. So it's hard to pick here. Y'all did come on. I will give y'all came on really strong when it came to the argument side. Y'all did a really good job at that. And I'm a really big fan of Travis Hunter. But I think I had to give it to him just because of how they came on to finish the argument. Whenever y'all started arguing each other, they instantly came on. They didn't stop talking. They kept putting pressure. They put out some big points. He gave a really hot take. I don't think Oregon's defense is better than Texas, but that's not the topic. That's not what we're talking about.
I think it is.
It's fine. We don't got to talk about that. We don't got to talk about that. So for that first topic, I'm going to have to give it to Tyler's team. So Tyler's team is up 1 going into the second topic. Now, I gave TJ the kudos to this topic for a reason. Once I find what it is. But I gave the kudos to him for a reason, because it's Cowboys based. He's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He has a podcast. Go ahead and shout that out real quick.
214 Sports Show. We talk about Dallas sports.
Just like that.
Every Friday.
Just like that. Let's tune in for that. Let's give a round of applause for that. Yep. He worked very hard on that. I've watched a couple episodes. But moving on, we're going to talk about topic 2. After being a top defense in the league last year, the Cowboys have given up almost 50 points in 2 games this year, and with the offense struggling, they currently sit at 3-3. We are aware of this team's playoff struggles, but they're usually a top regular season team. So, do you still think the Cowboys can win the NFC East So that basically also ties into playoff. It could tie into playoff positioning, but it also couldn't. So I'm just going to listen to what y'all have to say about that.
Mike, I'm going to cut you off right there, and I'm going to say, no, the Cowboys are not winning the NFC East. There's no way they win the NFC East. Look at their schedule coming up, man. They got to play San Francisco. At San Francisco, they got to play the Falcons in Atlanta. They got to play the Eagles 2 more times. They got to play the Commanders. They got to play the Bucks. They got to play the Bengals and the Texans. All of these teams can easily beat the Cowboys. They're 0-3 at home. All 3 games have been absolute blowouts. They haven't been able to win at home. And lastly, but not least, probably the greatest reason of them all, look, man, the NFC East curse is absolutely real. You do not win the division 2 years in a row. The last time somebody has won this division 2 years in a row was when we were born, 2003. All right? So it is not going to happen for these Dallas Cowboys. I'm just telling you right now.
The quarterback play from Dak Prescott has been horrible. Empty calories on top of empty calories on top of empty calories. He cannot. You're not going to be able to do that against Dan Quinn. I believe that the Commanders are going to win this division mainly because Dan Quinn has already established a culture. He trusts his young quarterback, and he has Cliff Kingsbury, quarterback guru, as an offensive coordinator role. He's not a head coach. He can't lead a team. But offensive coordinator, he's one of the best. But back to Dallas, that defense, the offense, the quarterback play, the running back play, it's all terrible. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, what are we, in 2016? Are we trying to relive the glory days?
And Dalvin Cook.
I mean, Dalvin Cook.
Who isn't even playing.
I haven't even forgot. Trey Lance, get ready. Get ready to play, man.
30 seconds.
It's hard. It's so sad to see you have a $50 million quarterback, and you're just not going to win a division. It's just it's everything. It's just it's terrible. If you watch him play,
it is terrible, Mike.
It's a bad team. It's a bad football team.
Really bad.
It's not good.
I've seen the games. I watched that Saints
even
game.
to that, man, I think the Eagles have a better chance of winning the division than the Cowboys. Even the Commanders and the Eagles have a better chance. And look, the defensive injuries are bad, man. Micah Parsons is out. Eric Kendricks is out. Deron Bland is on IR. So is DeMarcus Lawrence.
I hate to cut you off, but your 2 minutes are up. Don't worry, you're going to get another minute to finish whatever topic you want to say.
Let me finish.
No.
Some presidential debates.
Moving on. So now, y'all heard their side. I got 2 minutes starting now. What do you got?
So the question isn't whether the Cowboys are good. I think we can all tell this Cowboys team is not good. You know who else is not good? The Eagles. I'd argue Washington ain't that great either. They haven't played many really good teams. I mean, I think when it comes down to it, the winner of the NFC East is going to be 10-7 or 9-8. It's not a good record in the NFL. That's above average, decent. I think that the Cowboys, looking at their remaining schedule, they got the Falcons, which, I mean, that might seem like a hard game, but it's not. The Steelers walked in there and won. I mean, we know how bad this Steelers team is. I may have taken a little bit of a personal liberty saying that they were going to be undefeated through week 7, but they lost to this Cowboys team, and they beat that Falcons team. This Cowboys team also isn't that bad. Yeah, they had a bad game against the Lions, but when you look at their losses, the other 2 losses, against Baltimore, they only lost by 3. I mean, they lost a bad game to the Saints, but if they played that Saints team now, I think they beat them. Derek Carr has fallen off of a cliff. That Saints offense is not looking the same as it used to be. It's not a matter of whether or not the Cowboys can play well for the rest of the season. It's whether they can play good enough to beat a bad Eagles team and a decent Washington team with a rookie quarterback who we don't know how he's going to perform late in the season. I think the Cowboys are going to be able to at least make a push, if not, overtake the Commanders by the end of the season.
30 seconds.
I want to add, San Francisco is not as good a team as they used to be. You're not going to have Christian McCaffrey in that game. They're going to be easier to beat. Again, they were not all blowouts. Detroit was a blowout, but Detroit's one of the best teams in the NFL. Baltimore was a three-point loss to one of the best teams in the NFL, and New Orleans had a Fitzmagic run in the first 2 weeks of the season. They suck now. So, that being said, there are things that they need to fix, but they have a bye week to fix those things. I think they figure out how to play these teams that are not as good as we think they are. I think they squeak it out against a schedule that really isn't that good when you look at it.
Time.
Yeah. All right, so let me fill you in on a little Cowboys
you gotta
script
wait till
match.
he puts.
Everyone, okay, 1 minute, go.
Let me fill you in on a little bit of Cowboys secret, all right? That 3-point loss to Baltimore should have been a 50-point loss,
Baltimore
all right?
lit their
This
foot
is
on
what the
fire. But it
Cowboys.
wasn't.
This is what the Cowboys do. They get down super early. They dig themselves a huge hole, and then they act They stat pad and they try to get back in the game just to lose in the very last second. They did that to Green Bay in the wild card game last year. They do it all the time, folks. This is what they do, man.
They do it enough times to win some of those games.
They got blown
though.
out. They had over 200 yards rushing on them from King Henry. And this is just what's going to happen. I don't think Christian McCaffrey's going to be that big of an impact when Jordan Mason's going to go in there and still do really good.
The questionable and the one who has like an injury right now who might not even play?
Tell me one thing that Dallas does better than Washington right now.
Better receivers. CeeDee Lamb is better than Terry McLaurin. They have better receivers. Even their depth.
Better players.
Dowdle is a better
Are they a
receiver
better
than
passing
anybody
team?
other
Are
than
they a
Terry
better
McLaurin. That's
passing
not what
team?
you asked. That's
I'm
not what
asking.
you asked.
I said one thing that they do better.
Yeah, receivers.
They have better players
receivers.
at that position. They do not throw the ball better than Washington. Washington has a better offense
But can you
this
name
year.
something other than receivers? Because that's debatable. But other than receivers.
Washington's cornerbacks are garbage.
Okay.
They're terrible.
You don't.
They
Okay,
can't
for
defend
the
the
price
pass.
that each
They
quarterback
don't
are
defend the
playing
pass.
for.
They
Come
don't
on.
defend the pass.
For the
That
price
Washington
that
has one of the worst pass defenses in the league.
All right,
Have you seen Trayvon Diggs burnt toast all year?
Yeah, he has been.
Burnt toast.
Have you seen?
bit
Name me one player in on the Redskins cornerback group. Commanders. They're sorry, I grew up in DC. I can't not call them that. Name one player in that Commander's cornerback
Honestly,
group.
it's a
I
good thing
guarantee
that
you
I
one of
don't
them's
know.
been doing
It's
better
a
than
good
Diggs,
thing
though.
that I actually don't know. I always see the back of Diggs' jersey every week, so it's a good thing that I don't know the secondary from the Commanders.
All right. I'll let y'all go over because y'all were middle argument and I liked it. It was solid. Everything was good. That was a good one. That was a surprisingly really good one. Y'all both had really good takes. I do like the way y'all brought up that this team it will probably be a 9-8, 10-7 team in the NFC East that's going to win it. Could be Commanders could stay on their hot run and it just cooks them. And it cooks Cowboys' chances. Who knows? I mean, we got to remember that Tom Brady hosted a playoff game 8-9 for the Bucks. But then you come over to the Dallas side, they give a lot of good reasons to why the Cowboys are struggling, why they're going to continue to struggle. They brought up the schedule, they brought up what the team's struggling at, they brought up why it's not going to fix because they living in the glory days with Zeke. You're seeing Trayvon Diggs' jersey every week. You're seeing the back of it every week because he's burnt toast. He really is. He's getting cooked by every tight end in the league. Who is the Lions' tight end?
Sam
Laporta.
Sam Laporta. So Laporta's nice though. But there was 3 times in that game because I watched some of it. And I'm pretty sure Trayvon he got stuck on Laporta and Laporta cooked him. How? How do you get cooked by the tight end?
Because it's Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta
Sam
is like the
Laporta's
fastest tight end in the league.
He's like the second or first best tight end in the National Football League.
But we're talking about a cornerback though. This isn't a linebacker we're talking
not
about.
a
A linebacker picks up a tight end and that's what's supposed to happen.
Old
We're talking
tight
about a
ends, new
cornerback
tight
here.
ends,
All
maybe.
right, I'm not part of the debate. Everyone leave me alone. Everyone leave me alone. I'm not part of the debate. But I like that idea though. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna go over their side. I like the arguments a little better. They had more passion with the things they said. So it was no. Don't start that. Don't start that. It's tied 1-1. Should be okay. 1-1. Going into our final topic that none of y'all know about yet. And coming into this morning, I was torn between 2 things, but I found something good. I think it's funny, and it should be a good one. So in the past 2 years, the University of Texas has struggled to control crowd rushing and people not getting tickets to get in the game. So they set up a new type of arrangement to where you get the big ticket, but every Wednesday at 12 p.m., the tickets go on sale to grab. You don't have to pay for them. You already have the big ticket, but you have to secure a spot. If you don't secure a ticket, tough luck, you're not going. Mm-hmm. So it makes you wonder, hey, I bought the big ticket. Why am I not getting to go to the game? I go in at 12, I log in, I don't get a ticket. There's people I know that have not gotten a ticket all year. There's people I know, including Santi, who's gotten a ticket every game. So it's just, on y'all's perspective, so we don't know because we don't have a big game coming up. We have a huge game coming up. How is the control going to happen? Is it going to change anything from what they did? We don't know. We're going to find out. So, from y'all's side, this is important to me. I mean, this is very personal.
It's important
this
to me,
topic.
too.
This topic
Really
is very
important to me.
This topic is very personal. Do you think the system they have now is better than the system they had in the past 2 years, indulging fairness and people going? Go.
No, it's not.
Absolutely
it's not. This
Well,
system
were you guys
sucks.
were you guys
let me
sure-
let me show you something. If you can
brought
get
money.
yeah, look at this. This right here is enough to get you to every single game this year as a Texas football fan by buying the Longhorn Foundation pass. The fact that you can pay extra money to get a guaranteed ticket is a shame. When you look at how many season ticket holders we have, it's like 70,000 non-student season ticket holders. We have an 100,000 stadium. Michigan has a 107,000 capacity stadium, and they have 21,000 student section seats. We only have 12,000. Like, it is such a sham of a system that you have to log on and get whatever ticket you want, or try to get whatever ticket you want. And if you want to have an actual chance at going to every game, you have to pay extra to do it. I think the better option here would be to make it a points system. You buy the big ticket, sure, yeah, and they tell you straight out, you're not guaranteed a thing, or a, what's it called? You're not guaranteed a ticket, but what you do is every time you go to a game, let's make it basketball, volleyball, or any other sport, you get points, and those points add up to whether or not, or give you extra, what's it called? They give you extra points before the season, which you have to claim. You should be able to claim your tickets before the season starts, right?
Even with the system, the thing that's the issue with the system is that you can log in 30 minutes before the queue starts, and you get a random place in line. That's the thing that sucks about this system. I didn't get a ticket to the Georgia game. I signed in 20 minutes before the queue started. I was there the entire time, and I got put in the back of the queue, and I didn't get a ticket. I spent $200 of my own money, and I don't even get to go to the games I paid for. It's not fixing anything. You're still getting people buying tickets and selling them on Snapchat for $400. You're gonna have people rushing. You're gonna have people rushing the field for Georgia. It's not fixing anything. It's a greed act, and it's gonna make it harder for fans to go to the games, especially with the student section. It's one of the lowest in the conference.
It's one of the lowest in the conference is because it's our own fault. Our student section used to be bigger than that, and our own students stopped showing up to the games or leaving the games early, and they are still continuing to leave the games early. So I don't understand.
Which is something that this system was supposed to prevent, but it's not.
You're right, but at the same time, we cannot act like this system has not been known. They gave us a warning. They tried the trial system last year. And it was no complaints. No one complained about it. Everybody was fair. There was this Longhorn Foundation. It was the same price last year. It was in the Big 12, but no one gave a crap because we were in the Big 12, so they didn't go to the games anyway. Now we're in the SEC. Now the system's a problem. Y'all didn't complain about the system last year. Now the system's a problem. Now, no, it's not the system. In my opinion, it's great. It rewards those people who...
All right, I know this is metagaming a little bit. He was complaining about the system in the back room before the show.
Also, how is there a reward system? There is absolutely no way to track who goes to games. I went to the first 3 games and I still didn't get a ticket.
It is a reward system. You get rewarded for going to every home game. You get put in a raffle for playoff tickets. I was one of them.
Okay, but that doesn't affect the actual season games. That doesn't.
Okay, but that doesn't
affect
help
the
me go
regular
to Georgia.
season.
But that's a good point that
But also the big ticket. Y'all act like the big ticket is just for football. The big ticket is for everything.
That's what I was saying with my system. You get extra points for going to games that aren't football. And then with those points at the beginning of the season, you get put higher in a queue to whether.
But also, you can complain about not being able to go to football games while still going to other teams' games. Those two are not mutually
exclusive. If you want to change something, I think the change that needs to be made is that there needs to be a class superiority system set up.
But
I think
that's
also
also
the seniors, the juniors, they deserve to go to these games because these are their last chances.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
no, but here's the thing. That's what that's
upperclassman,
what's so great about this system is it's one that Tennessee used for a while, like the University of Tennessee. The upperclassmen, if you're around longer and you're going to more games, you are going to have more points than anyone in the grades lower than you, right? So if you show up to games that aren't football, if you go to a basketball game, if you go to a women's soccer game, if you go to a volleyball game, you get a specific amount of points for going to that game. Those points accumulate over time. The people that have the most points get the first picks for all their tickets, right? I think that is the most fair system, and it rewards people who go to other sports, not just football.
And you're not running into class superiority things. Because if I'm a freshman, but I go to all those games, I deserve to go to as many games as a senior does. Because a senior might not go to any games, and then, they're a senior, they get every ticket. Fantastic.
And that's why we got this system also fixes the problem of people leaving early. Because if you get a ticket and you did all of that effort to make sure that you get a ticket, you're not going to leave the game in the second half. Like at any point in the second, you're going to stick it all the way out. That fixes your attendance problem.
There is a system in place to get those that is already catching people. I've known people that already had their bid ticket revoked already for reselling.
But that's reselling, not leaving early.
And being caught. Well, they're already cracking down on that. And they're already cracking down on people claiming these tickets and reselling. And then when everyone knows that, okay, these tickets are actually, how come I'm going to stay in the game, I'm going to be there. And now, like, we see, it's
The only reason they're going to stay in the game this week is because it's Georgia. There's
Also,
people who don't
already
care
we're
about
halfway
football who
through
are
the
going to leave early in 3 weeks.
All right.
The energy shifted once we joined a different conference. Now everybody is in uproar. No one had a problem with the system last year.
All right.
The system
Thanks,
was
Grandpa.
phenomenal.
All right.
last year.
Well.
Yeah, he just called you grandpa.
Well, okay. Those are fight words. Those are fighting words. All right, so we're good, right? Everyone, calm down. That was good. I liked it. I hated that. I hate the system, man. I don't like it. But I'm not here to be biased. I'm here to choose who had the better argument. I hate when people bring up the Longhorn Foundation. It irks me. I didn't know about it. I would pay the extra $100 for a guaranteed ticket. What's up with that? Why are they making that more known? Why don't they send out more emails of that besides once way back in March, whenever it happened, to remind you? And I wasn't even thinking about it in March.
I didn't get the email. I transferred here in June. I got it still. That's on you, Mikey.
Oh, see, now he's attacking me. Okay, everyone calm down. All right. I hate the system. I hate it. The passion. It's dumb. It's stupid. I bought the big ticket. I gave you my money. Give me my money back if you're not going to let me in. But I kind of like the way when y'all brought up, y'all don't give me that. Calm down. I haven't even decided yet. Yeah. Just the...
He doesn't even believe in his own argument.
Everyone,
Just we do.
I almost got lost.
They
Y'all started to
don't
agree
believe
with each other towards the end about the system. But I like when you said they're cracking down on people reselling. It's a good system. You crack down on people reselling, so people aren't just they're people who they give you a strike system to where if you don't go to the game, they're going to give you a strike if you don't go to the game because you claimed a ticket because a student lost out on that and you have a chance to lose your big ticket. So that's the only upside to the system, I believe. It keeps it more amicable. People have a better chance. I think the way you get the ticket is dumb. I would prefer if you went and waited in line, in person, instead of just waiting and relying on your Wi-Fi. You're relying on your Wi-Fi.
Gonna have to skip a lot of classes for that.
Yeah, you are gonna have to skip some classes. But I did it for the Gonzaga game 2 years ago. It was worth it. I missed half the day to go claim my Gonzaga ticket. It was worth it. So if they just did something like that, just for for the big games, because you have Georgia coming up, it's fine. But so without further ado, as much as I hate the system, I like y'all's argument for it better. So the winner here is gonna have to be TJ's team, as they get the 2 out of the 1, so they win the debate this week. We don't have a trophy for the debate.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
But you know what? You're the best.
Don't test me on my Cowboys and Longhorn student tickets knowledge, man. Don't test me on it. Let's go. 2-0 today. Hey, you carried on that last round, though. You carried on that last round.
Thank you.
But anyways, enough of the debate topic. That was a long debate, man. That was
It was not as long as week 1.
It was very long.
That's why I
week
put the
one.
time on it.
Extremely long.
That's why I
week
put the
one.
time on it.
But anyways, we have the pick'ems. It's going to be your favorite segment of the week. We may not have Lee Corso headgear, but keep it locked here. You won't want to miss it. Raymond Gorvey will be back with us on the 1-0 Sports Show. Alrighty, welcome back to week 5. The week 7 pick'ems. I'm sorry, what? You can't just motion to me like that and then act like you did something wrong. All right, so we got Raymond Gorby back here. All right, glad you can join us again. We got 10 really good games between the college football and the NFL. We're gonna start off with college football though. We have Nebraska going to Indiana, number 16 ranked Indiana. Who do you have, Raymond?
I have Indiana. I think they're going to be one half of the representatives in the Big Ten championship game. I believe in the hype. They're undefeated. They're ranked. Their head coach, what's his name? He has established a culture there, and the players are bought into it. So give me Indiana over Nebraska.
All right, who do you have, Tyler?
I'm also going to go with Indiana. I think Indiana is just a really, really good football team. I think their quarterback play has been amazing. Curtis Work has had an amazing season, lots of touchdowns, lots of passing yards. I think that you're going against the Nebraska team that, yes, they were ranked at one point, but I think Indiana is just, when you're playing with house money, I think you have more of a mentality. You're just going to go in and you're just going to play your hardest. They're playing way above their expectations. No one thought Indiana would be 16th at this point of the year. You're playing with house money. They're going to go in, they're going to do what they do, and they're going to win.
I'm going to go with Nebraska here. Look, I think Indiana's going to start feeling the pressure eventually. They're one of the 2 teams in the nation left that have not been trailing in a game yet. Look, they weren't expected to do this at all. I think that they're going to start feeling the pressure soon. Nebraska's one of the opponents that I think can give them some run for their money. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, which is, Big Ten, man. It's getting different around the Big Ten football now. They're starting to score. But give me Dylan Raiola and the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the win this game against Indiana. But moving on, we have number 24 ranked Michigan going up against the Fighting Illini and number 22 Illinois. This game's going to be a good one of the ranked matchups of the week. I'm going to start with you, Tyler. Who do you have?
I'm going to go Illinois here. I think we've seen Michigan has some problems. Some is an understatement. Their quarterback play is... I don't think their defense is that good. I think that the fact that they're 4-2 is not really representative of how good they are as a team. And I think Illinois, again, I'm going to go with this trope, playing on house money. I don't think anyone expects Illinois to actually be, somewhat okay. No one ever expects Illinois to be okay at football. That's not their thing. I think they're going to go in, expose Michigan's many, many issues on the field, and they're going to come out with, it's going to be a close one. It's not going to be a blowout, but I think they're going to come out with the win.
Yeah, I think I really like Luke Altmaier for Illinois, but I'm going to go with Michigan. I think the defense finally gets them. They could only put up 7 points against Penn State. I think Michigan's defense is better than Penn State. I think they were able to suffocate him. They have a great front 7 in Ann Arbor. I think they're going to find some offense somewhere. They're going to find some kind of offense eventually in this game. I think they pull through and win this game. But who do you have, Raymond?
I'm going to go with Illinois. Michigan, it's a horrible team. Their defense, I do think their defense is good. It's just when it's time to get when you see Michigan lose is when you got to get those subs in. Their lack of depth is horrid. On paper, their defense is good, but that depth, it's terrible. So, and then obviously the quarterback play, it's one of the worst quarterback play in the entire nation at this point. So, yeah, for that reason, just give me Illinois, Michigan, fraud 4-2 team. They shouldn't even be ranked. They were idle coming off a loss to an unranked Washington team, idle, and somehow are 24.
Yeah. Are they the only team in the top 25 that have 2 losses on the season right now? I think they are.
I don't believe so.
Oh, they aren't? There's Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Okay, so the next team is Alabama and Tennessee. Alabama's ranked 7th. They're going into Knoxville, who are the Tennessee Volunteers are ranked number 11. I'm going to start on this one. Look, they've both played really bad these past few weeks. I'm going to go with Alabama. I still think that they're a better team in this instance, especially with the background of this rivalry in the past decade. What both Arkansas and Florida did, what they did, both Arkansas and Florida, they have in common. Both have very mediocre QBs, but both played very well against Tennessee. Now they go up against a real QB in Jalen Milroe. I think the Tide take this.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Tide also. I just don't see Tennessee's offense scoring enough points to be able to stick with Alabama throughout the night. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Alabama.
I'm going to go with Alabama, too. I think past 2 weeks they've been playing not so great. Alabama has a tendency to, when they don't play great, come back with a mean vengeance. And I think Jalen Milroe to Ryan Williams is going to be one of the connections to watch during this game. I think they're going to be electric. There's going to be 1 or 2 big plays. I don't think Tennessee is good enough this year to overpower them like they were a couple years ago. I think Bama comes back and shows why they are still one of the top teams in the
Nice. Hey, first time we all agreed. We got a clean sweep for Alabama there. No, moving on to the next game. Arkansas, they're looking for their second victory at home against a top 10 team. They're playing number 8 LSU, who's just coming off an exciting victory win against Ole Miss in overtime. Raymond, who do you have?
Give me Arkansas. LSU. They should have lost to South Carolina. If you watch that game, you know they are frauds. Brian Kelly, he is known to do this. He comes up with a masterclass of losing that one game every year. We all know it through his time in Notre Dame. It's been transitioned over here to LSU, and I'm picking it as this one, Arkansas. Coach Pittman in Arkansas, he's feeling the heat. He's on the hot seat. So I see upset pick of the week, Arkansas beating LSU.
I'm going to go with Arkansas, too, to win this one. I think LSU, look, playing it, but Alabama's coming off a bye. LSU's coming off a hard-fought OT victory. And looking back on the schedule, man, it looks like Arkansas might not be that bad. They only lost to four points to Texas A&M. I think Arkansas, look, they're going to take this bad boy home. I think their defense, they helps them a lot. They did great against Tennessee. They ranked third lowest in the SEC in points given up at 49 on the season. The Hogs, they just might be good. They just might be pretty decent. I'm going to go with Arkansas this game.
I'm going to go with LSU. I'm going to go with the favorite here, and there are a couple reasons why. I think LSU, their only losses against USC, who was ranked at the time. I don't actually remember if they're still ranked. After Penn State, I don't think so. But they were ranked at the time, and that counts for something. I don't think LSU... I don't think this is the game where we see the Brian Kelly masterclass of losing. I think the Brian Kelly masterclass of losing comes to a team that is much, much worse. That's how it usually works. You have LSU losing to, like, A&M a couple years ago, and A&M was like 5-7. This is not the game where we see a Brian Kelly masterclass of losing, because Arkansas is, I think, an actually good team. I think they have an actual pretty decent on-the-field product. But I think Garrett Nussmeier, did I get it right? I think he is just too good of a quarterback to let this one go when this is, a game that we've been looking forward to. Arkansas is a pretty good team. It's a conference matchup. I don't think this is the game where LSU lets it go. I think that's later in the season.
Yeah, okay. So we got... It's kind of crazy that we got an Arkansas advantage, though, right there. But we're going to move on to the NFL. And we have the first game of the week. It's going to be the Houston Texans at the Green Bay Packers. Houston, they're at 5-1. Green Bay, they're at 4-2. I'm going to start off with this one. I'm going to take the Packers with a home field advantage. The Texans, they're a great team, but I like the Packers, their offense. I think it's been more consistent. They're scoring more points. If Joe Mixon is out, in addition to already Nico Collins, I think the Packers will win this game. Tyler, let's go with you.
Okay, so I'm going to try my best not to be too biased with this because, that's my hometown team, but I am going to go with the Houston Texans. Here's why. I think that their defense is going to be able to hold the Packers to a reasonable amount of points. It's not going to be lockdown. It's not going to be a shutout, but it's going to be a reasonably good defense thing. Also, Nico Collins being out sounds terrible on paper. It is not the worst thing in the world when you have Tank Dell, and you have Tank Dell. When you have Joe Mixon, who he played last week, I'm pretty sure he's playing this week. I don't think we've heard anything about him not playing.
He's like a limited participant, I've heard, in practice.
I think if he plays, the Texans win. We outrun them. We have Tank Dell. CJ Stroud will do CJ Stroud things as he's done all season. I think the defense does what they need to do. I think the Texans take this one, go to 6-1.
I'm going to go with the Packers. It's a whiteout game. Why is this game? It's not at night. It should be Sunday night. Whiteout in Lambeau. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers. You talk about the Texas defense. I can equally talk about the Packers defense. The Packers defense is completely turned around. Jair Alexander, he's coming back this week. And not having Nico Collins makes his job a little easier. So, give me the Packers beating the Texans.
All right. We obviously got some that's an interesting game for this panel for sure. But we're going to move on to the Lions and Vikings NFC North competition right here. The Vikings are looking to stay undefeated. Raymond, who do you have?
I have the Lions. Sam Darnold's starting to come back down to earth just a little bit, and the Lions are now starting to pick up. They're coming off an impressive win over the Cowboys, even though they're a lackluster team. That's still impressive. We know their offensive linemen, their receiver ones on many other teams if across the league. So give me the Lions.
I am also going to go Lions. I think this is the game the Vikings finally have their first loss. Listen, Minnesota is a good team, and they're not frauds. I don't think they're frauds. However, the Lions are on they got a really good thing going right now. I think that the Lions' offensive power is just going to overpower Minnesota. I do think it's going to be close. I think this is a matchup that we might see. We're going to also talk about later in the year, and it's going to be a really, really fun matchup this year. I just think the Lions, you can throw it to St. Brown. You can run it with Sonic or Knuckles. You can throw it to Laporta. Jared Goff can catch it, I guess now. Like, it's too multidimensional of an offense for Minnesota to overtake, I think.
Yeah, I just refuse to believe that the Vikings start the season 6-0. There's just no way the Vikings start 6-0. I refuse to believe it. The Lions, they've looked very good these past few weeks. Well, they've been trending up. The Vikings, on the other hand, have been trending down a little bit. Look, without the Aiden Hutchinson, the defense, they're going to need to step up a little bit. But the talent on the defensive line is still wide for the Detroit. They still got a lot of talent there. They can get to Sam Darnold and rattle him. I think Detroit wins it. You got to think the Vikings. They got to start feeling the pressure eventually, just like I brought up about Indiana. I think they're going to start feeling the pressure eventually of being one of the 2 undefeated teams in the NFL. And yeah, I think the Lions take this home. But moving on, we got a Super Bowl rematch between the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. In the Super Bowl, of course, we all know the Chiefs won it in overtime. Raymond, do you think that the 49ers get the revenge here?
No, they're fighting too many injuries right now. I know Debo right now is questionable, even though he played last week, and their kicker is doubtful, Mr. Moody. But yeah, give me the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the more healthier team right now. They're starting to play a little better on offense. We're seeing each week Xavier Worthy is getting featured more and more and more, and I expect that to continue. So give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, without Christian McCaffrey, without Deebo Samuel potentially, I think the Kansas City Chiefs, they keep winning close games. Like they're known for, basically. But give me the Chiefs to win again. I just haven't liked how the 49ers have played with their subtractions on the offense. They've looked a lot more beatable than they have before. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. What about you, Tyler?
Okay, the Chiefs have a history of playing someone in the playoffs and then playing after, and they lose that game.
Interesting.
And I think this is the game that the 49ers win. I think they pull some together. Brock Purdy in the 325 slot is basically undefeated. I think Rashee Rice is out for, if not the year, at least he's on the
Probably
IR.
out the year.
Kareem Hunt is not a name I thought I'd be saying in 2024, but he is the running back for the Chiefs now, thanks to Pacheco being out, and you probably don't want to start Carson Steele that often. I think that Jordan Mason, should he play, this is really contingent on Jordan Mason playing, actually. Should he play, he will figure it out. I think Purdy, get some Purdy magic back in him. You could throw it to Kittle. You can still throw it to Ayuk. I think Ayuk might actually have a bounce-back game right now. I think the 49ers are going to actually do what other teams have been trying to do and exploit what's happening with Kansas City and pull out a close one.
Oh, look at that. So we got you got San Francisco, we got 2 Chiefs. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll start off with this one. I think the Ravens take this. The last 3 weeks have been extremely impressive for them. The wins against the Bengals, the Commanders, the Bills, all of them have been solid victories. I think they match up talent-wise and beat Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield, he threw 3 picks against the New Orleans defense last year. He's not careful. The Ravens defense will make him throw 3 more. I think the Ravens win this one. Sorry. Anyone could go, I guess.
I'm going to also say Ravens. The Ravens, look, they started 0-2. They've won 4 in a row. They are an amazing football team. No one is ever going to be more afraid for a read option when you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. That is terrifying. I think that everything is just clicking for the Baltimore Ravens right now. Now, everything might be clicking for the Bucs. I think this is going to be a really fun game. I think it's going to be an offensive shootout. I think it's going to be one of the games of the week, but I do think the Ravens win in the rushing part, and I think the rushing is actually going to be what helps the Ravens win this game. If they can win the rushing battle, which they probably can, I think that's what's going to overpower Tampa Bay.
I'm going to go with shake and bake, baby. Give me Tampa Bay. Listen, I know I go to the University of Texas, but before I came here, I had no affiliation with this university, and I loved Baker Mayfield. I am a Baker Mayfield fan. Yeah, but the Baker Mayfield's playing great football this year. I do believe it's going to be an offensive shootout, but I do think the last play of the game is going to come down to who's going to be able to make that throw, and I believe Baker Mayfield will be able to make the throws to be made versus going against Lamar Jackson. So.
All right, well, we're going to move on to the diamond instead of football for a quick little one right here. We're going to give our World Series picks for the MLB. We had both championship series play last night. We're going to start off with Tyler. Who do you have winning?
Okay, so this hurts me in so many different ways. Unfortunately for me, as someone who does not like either of these teams, it's going to be Dodgers-Yankees. Now, I wanted to say it was going to be the Mets to win the series, but after last night, I cannot say that. The Mets' grimace run, I think, is going to end. I think the Dodgers are just too powerful to beat them. I don't. Okay, we have a goat in the studio. That's fine. Now, I don't know if this is part of it, but I also put in who I think would actually win the World Series. If that were to happen, it would be the New York Yankees. I am extremely worried about the Dodgers' pitching depth. I think it's been an issue all postseason. Every time the team beats the Dodgers, it's because the pitching depth sucked. It's because you had a bad starting pitcher and your bullpen let it go. I do think the Dodgers get overpowered by the Yankees in the World Series. I think we're going to call it the Manfred Bowl. It's his two favorite teams playing against each other. It's like his dream. But the Yankees are going to take it over the Dodgers.
Yeah, and if I wasn't tied for last in the pick'em rankings, I would go with the Subway Series because why not? But I'm gonna go with the Yankees Dodgers too because it's just the obvious answer here. Both teams look really good. The Guardians, and the New York Mets, they just haven't brought up the same amount of pace that both those teams have been playing. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Yankees. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers, and it's tough. Yeah, it is the two biggest markets in the MLB. I wish that the biggest market in football could maybe do that too once in a while, but we'll see about that. Anyways, who do you have, Raymond?
Yeah, as much as it pains me also to say, but it's going to be Yankees Dodgers. As a San Francisco Giants fan, I hate the Dodgers. I can't stand them. But the Mets, I think the dream runs over. Shohei, the storyline, the build up, he has to make it to the World Series, and I want him to make it, but I'm also going to say the Yankees will beat the Dodgers in the World Series. Give me Yankees in 5.
All right. Hey, good pick. All right. So then, the last game that we are going to be talking about, you might think, hold up, we missed a game in college football this weekend. There's a bigger game than all those 4 games that we already talked about. We got it here. The last question. The potential game of the year, number 1 ranked Texas Longhorns playing the number 5 ranked Georgia Bulldogs at Darrell K. Royal Stadium this Saturday at 6:30 on ABC. Texas opens up as a 5-point favorite. Who wants to start us off here?
I will start this off. It is going to be Texas. It is going to be Texas because the defense is going to do what they need to do to keep Georgia within a reasonable pace on points. I think Quinn Ewers is going to learn from his mistakes in Oklahoma. He's going to come back from injury. I think we're going to see a really good offense. I think we're going to see Gunnar Helm get a bunch of plays. We're going to see Silas Bolden. We have Matthew Golden. We have a lot of diversity. I think Jaden Blue is going to have a really good game, tandem with Contravion Reisner. I think that's kind of like the college Sonic and Knuckles, honestly. I think we're in the rematch of the Sugar Bowl a couple years ago. I'm going to quote UT legend Sam Ellinger, "We're back."
Wait, is Weisner Sonic and Blue Knuckles?
I think it's interchangeable.
I think it's interchangeable too. I could see it. All right. You want me to go first?
Actually, I'm going to go. I'm not going to pick Georgia. Why are you thinking I'm going to pick Georgia? Come on. Come on. As I'm good Texas, I believe Texas has the best offensive line in the country. I think Texas actually is the only team that matches up well enough outside of Bama, because that's more of a psychological thing. I'm talking about more on paper. Matches up well to beat Georgia in the conference, mainly due to the offensive line and the weapons on the outside.
Yes.
So, obviously, more leaning into it. This game depends on the front 7. I just believe that our front 7 on both sides of the ball is going to have a better day than vice versa for Georgia. So give me Texas.
Let me finish the sweep real quick. I'm going to say Texas wins 35-27. Look, We talked about this earlier in the show about how Texas needs to fix their first half woes. But another team that's had some first half woes? The Georgia Bulldogs. They've struggled against Alabama. They struggled even against Mississippi State and Auburn in those first half games. I think, they're going to give our defense problems. We talked about it well. They will put up more yards than Texas has seen given up this season. I think they will bend, but not break. The Longhorns with the home advantage, I think they're prone to win the mistakes battle. I think Texas just can't let Carson Beck settle in early, whatever it is. Getting more guys into the box, scoring first, or doubling up on his favorite target, no matter what, put pressure on him to come back in this game. I think the scoring turns up in the second half and Quinn Ewers proves he's the better quarterback. Texas knows they can afford to lose this game and still win the SEC. Georgia, on the other hand, you can't say that much. They have more pressure on this game. It's immensely on the Bulldogs in a hostile road game against the number 1 team in the nation. Georgia keeps it close, but out of desperation will fold in the end while Ewers stays calm and collected and helps Texas make a winning drive after winning drive in the second half. So, there we go. I guess that does it for the show. That'll do it for the 1-0 Sports Show. Thank you for joining us this morning. And be sure to check out our sister shows, College Press Box on Monday nights at 6:30 p.m. and College Crossfire Wednesday nights at 9. I hope you have a wonderful weekend in this amazing city that's about to have one of the biggest weekends it's ever seen. I'm TJ Krilowicz. This is Tyler Stremple, Raymond Gorvey. Thank you, Colin Flickinger, for showing up, and Michael Alvarez. And shout out to our other 1-0 executive producer, Santiago Ortiz. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on the 1-0 Sports Show.